Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go through a topic that is commonly discussed in conversation when I'm training with my clients. And often I get clients that are over 30 and 40 and even 50 years old, and they all have the same rhetoric saying, my metabolism has slowed down and I just can't do it the way I used to when I was in my 20s. And that is definitely true, because regardless of your metabolism, whether your physiology has changed throughout the years, one of the most overlooked factors is our schedule and responsibilities as we grow older. So in our 20s, we tend to be uni students, we tend to have more time to ourselves, we might even have more physical jobs that allow us to burn more calories throughout the day. And as we age, we have families to look after, we have more sitting down jobs, and we just don't dedicate enough time to our training. So that is one of the major factors, in my opinion, that is going to influence your metabolism today. Now, if we break down what metabolism is, it basically is determined by your body weight, how big of a human you are, and the amount of activity that you do. And often, a lot of times that fitness experts say to put on muscle mass, that's going to influence your metabolism for the positive. We can see that in the studies, it doesn't really amount to too much. Even if you put on, say, 10 kilos of muscle, you might burn an extra 100 calories. And putting on 10 kilos of muscle is a lot of work just to burn that extra 100 or even 200 calories. And no, I'm not saying don't try to put on muscle, but I'm saying that is not the most important thing about speeding up your metabolism. The main thing that's going to speed up your metabolism is actually the amount of activity that you do throughout the day. So you can see that marathon runners are always quite skinny because they have to run or move their body quite a lot every single day in order to fulfill their athletic needs. And in turn, their output is so high that it ramps up their metabolism by a lot. So think back to a time where you did a lot of physical labor, or even if you exerted yourself for a big part of the day, you would see yourself quite hungry. And after that meal where you try to satisfy all the energetic needs, you don't feel too full. You actually feel okay, and you might even eat more after that. But then I want you to reflect to a time when you're traveling overseas on a holiday or any sort of beach lying down activity where you've just drank alcohol, you do feel really bloated. That's because your metabolism has done nothing to need that sort of energy intake. You do feel sluggish. And when you do activity, your metabolism ramps up. So that's the really basic explanation of what your metabolism is. With that in mind, in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, knowing that you have more responsibility and less time for yourself to take care of your physical fitness, we are going to outline the main things that you do if you're one of those individuals that have really neglected themselves and are time poor. So first, let's look at your training. You want to be in the gym doing resistance training at least 2 to 3 times per week. You want to focus on compound type exercises that are going to give you more bang for buck, such as deadlifts, squats, presses, lat pull downs, and that's going to allow you to hit more muscle groups in one motion rather than splitting everything up. So if you're looking for efficiency, those are going to be best bang for buck movements. In these sessions, if you only have 45 minutes, you can do 2 sets of 3 exercises, 2 hard leg presses, 1 warm-up set, 1 stimulus set, meaning you're going to go to failure. And if you do 2 more exercises, that's only 6 sets in total, and that might take you maybe 20 minutes, which is enough to do some high intensity work afterwards. So you can do some like interval training on the bike or rower, and that way you've really redlined everything in your body, and that's going to create a really high stimulus effect and also rev up your metabolism. That sounds like a buzzword. It probably is, but what I'm trying to say, in that small amount of time that you have, that's going to be the most bang for buck in terms of burning energy and creating muscle growth. Now, with training out of the way, you want to also focus on how much physical activity you're doing throughout the day. So if you're in an office, most likely you're going to be sitting on the chair, not doing much and not burning much energy. And we always have breakfast, lunch and dinner, and even some snacks in between, which our bodies do not deserve if we're not doing anything at all. You want to increase your incidental exercise. Just getting out of your chair, going for a drink of water, or taking the long way to a certain room or to a certain location, that's going to all help you burn more. We are looking at a calories in, calories out conversation. Now, it's probably not that simple. Yes, there are going to be physiological factors that might apply to a very small amount of people, but if we look at a general overview of the population, that is the formula that we're going for. If you're going to be moving more, you're going to be burning more, and in essence, you're going to be tapping into those extra fat stores that we don't want in our 30s, 40s, and 50s. So with training and physical activity out of the way, we're going to touch on some nutrition. Nutrition is a very sensitive topic and a lot of people have their own opinions, but throughout my own training and experience and working with clients, what works is something that you can follow. No point having the world's best diet when you can't follow it. So you have to cater to yourself and what's going to get you the most results without changing something so drastically that you can't do it. So for me, I like to do intermittent fasting. It allows efficiency of not eating throughout the day, and when I'm back at home and not busy, I can eat a big giant meal, which I really enjoy and look forward to. You might be a little bit different. You might like to spread your meals throughout the day, and that is totally fine, but there's one thing you want to consider. You don't want to be full. So if you get that full feeling, most of the time you've eaten too much. You want to eat to just satisfactory, and sometimes you want to even feel some hunger. When you feel a little bit of hunger, you know your body is tapping into its energy reserves and taking away from those fat stores. And this is what we want as we age. Of course, sometimes when we expend more energy, you're going to feel more hungrier. But the main point is you don't want to eat till you're bogged down and totally full. In fact, if I give you an example of how my eating pattern is, this might spark a bit of imagination on how you will create your eating habits. So I usually eat 1 meal a day from Monday to Thursday, where I'm super busy throughout the day and I come home and I just pack myself one giant meal, and that is enough to put me in a slight deficit for 4 days. And on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I eat 2 meals, sometimes overeating on those 2 to 3 days. And if we look at the overall picture, I'm eating less for 4 days and eating more for 3 days. So overall, my energy intake is going to be less, and I have this nice balance of being in a deficit most of the time. But as you do this more often, you'll have your own intuition of what is the right balance. You can actually feel yourself eating into the fat stores. I know that sounds very blasé, but you will know when you are hitting the right amount of food for fat loss. I don't want to make this video too long, but I can go more into depths if you want, and comment down below if you're struggling with this in your 30s, 40s and 50s. But that is the basics of it. If we do a recap, you want to make sure you're moving throughout your day. Make sure you're doing resistance training and high intensity training 2 to 3 times per week. And make sure with your nutrition, it's something that you can follow and do for a very long time. And that's going to get you the best results. All right, that's it for today. And I'll see you guys on the next one.